Greetings, greetings. Hello, everybody. Greetings and welcome to Conversation with Tony Mobley. Today on Conversation with Tony Mobley, it is simulcast on both YouTube and LinkedIn Live. Welcome, radio listeners from Cincinnati, Ohio on Z98. You can hear us on the radio by going to z98fm.com. On Conversation with Tony Mobley today, I am talking with a Blab reunion panel. That's right, a Blab reunion panel. This is episode 86 of Conversation with Tony Mobley. We want to thank everyone for being a part of this journey. I want to thank the team behind Conversation with Tony Mobley for all of their hard work. You can go to conversationwithtonymobley.com where you can participate in the Mukana chat. What is the Mukana chat? The Mukana chat is an opportunity for you to ask this panel questions, and those questions can be voted up and down. That's right. So you can ask those questions. You can also ask the questions in YouTube, but by putting them in Mukana, you have the opportunity to have those questions voted up and down, ensuring that they get to be asked during this conversations. And so all you have to do is go to conversationwithtonymobley.com and you can ask your question there. Thank you so much. And now we are going to get down to business with the fun of this conversation. And I want to say welcome to all of my panelists today. Hello, everyone. Oh, wow. What a great group of people we have here. So we're going to start with the lady in the room first. We want to say hello and greetings to Miss Lydia Matheson. Hello.
Hi.
Hello there.
Hey, it's good to be here.
It is so good to see you. Happy to have you. So tell us what's going on with you. What have you been doing since the last time you were on a Blab?
Well, I am a retailer. So my jobs have been over the last few years, I've been leading stores in different parts of the country and really just enjoying, that journey. So I moved to Michigan. I was there for a couple of years. And then from there, I moved to Ohio. So I'm in Central Ohio and have worked for some amazing people and had some great teams. I am currently working for a luxury furniture retailer. And I am offering design services and furniture services to clients all over the world. So really excited about that project. But as a leader, you're always challenged to be not only leading others, but leading yourself. So that's what I'm excited about. It's a fantastic company that I work for. But that's what I've been working on really over the last few years. When I stopped streaming, I really got back into my craft. And it is about leading sales teams. It's about problem solving in real time. And it's about making people better than they thought they could be. So
fantastic. Thank you so much, Lydia, for sharing that with us. We're going to go to J.S. Gilbert. Hello, sir. Welcome to Conversation with Tony Mobley and the Blab reunion.
Hi. Yo, nice to see you and all these other folks here. Yeah. And what have I been doing? Is that the question?
Yes, sir. That's the question.
I've gotten really good at napping. Really, it's something I excel in, actually. No, I it's more of the same of what I was doing, but also, little this, little that. John Preto and the guy who's not here, should I even mention Colin's name since he's not here? But John, Colin, and I still do Nerd World every now and again. We were trying to do it once a month, so that's kind of fun. At least we get to hang out. And I still keep in touch with a lot of people from Blab and see them actually. Sid has come to visit me a few times. Other people as well. Sometimes we'll see them at events and things like that and stuff. And I'm actually planning a trip probably the end of this summer. Going to be going through LA, Vegas, and Nevada, and New Mexico, and Texas, and trying to see people that I know from online places and Blab, of course. And I still work doing voiceover whenever I can, and writing and producing commercials and things of that nature. And then I have I'm a fidgeter. I love to like make things, paint, leather, so on and so forth. And this is where I am right now, is my little tinkering shop, and I've opened up a little jewelry thing on Etsy. These are cat earrings and cat pendants that I sell. Other things. So, yeah, it's fun. I get up, and if I don't have anything particularly pressing from clients or anything to do, then I generally will go into making something or trying to sell something that I've made. So that's about it.
Very cool. Thank you so much again for being here, a part of this Blab reunion. And we're going to go to Mr. Lee Michaels. Hello, Lee.
Why did you whisper that? Is like, is it a secret? Well, George is my other name that my mom used to call me, and Lee is my professional name. You know how that goes back in the old radio days. So, yeah, George Halstead. Now you know why I use Lee Michaels, because Halstead sounds like a damn lawyer or a doctor. It's too formal, I thought. But well, since Blab, I've been doing a lot of things. I've started a kind of a news talk network online, and I have a limo service, which really strokes my ego. When I get people in the car, I've got a captive audience, and then I start telling them stories. And whether they like it or not, they can't jump out. So they pay me to entertain them. And most of the times they walk out and give me nice tips. So it works out pretty well. But yeah, I'm in the transportation business. Also do a little bit of online consulting for people who want to start live streams and podcasting, stuff like that. And, after doing radio for 50 years, it's kind of hard not to collaborate with, former broadcasters or current broadcasters doing various things. And they'll generally call on me and say, well, Lee, how do we fix this? And so I'm kind of that go-to guy to all the radio guys.
Very
like
cool.
JS, I'm sure.
Lee, can you share your link for your podcast?
Yeah, it's streetnewsnow.com.
Streetnewsnow.com.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for that, sir. We're going to go to Mr. We're going to go to Mr. Stan Bush. Hello, Stan Bush.
What's up, Tony?
What's up?
What's up, man? It's good to talk to you again. It is. It is always great to talk to you. And I'm liking this thing with this. I mean, I'm just in a host of stars here, because I remember all these guys back in Blab days. I remember them. As you know, we were kind of busy with what we were doing, but I would try to go see their shows when I could.
Absolutely. So what have you been up to that you can talk about?
Well, after Blab, I mean, I did a couple of things on Facebook, but I've been doing Google Plus. Built that community over there, and then I did the Blab thing, and then after that, I did some stuff on Facebook. I did some things that did pretty good, but I just really kind of I didn't get burnt out. I just didn't really want to have. I didn't have the same team we had with Blab, first of all, because we had a really great team over there. We're doing that show. We did the morning show of how to use Blab, and then we did the what was it, afternoon of how to host a Blab, and then we did Casual Fridays. And as usual, I'm the guy in the tie again, right? That's the way that I rolled. Even when we showed up, that was everybody used to ask us about that, but all of us had ties on. Didn't we, Tony?
That's right. Everybody had a tie on.
Yep. And it was actually, what was really funny about that is that the name of if they really kind of followed the name of those Blabs, they were almost a little irreverent, because do you remember the name of the Blab?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
The Circadians.
No, the Circadians was that group that we did. The name of the Blabs were No Blabus Interruptus, which was
That's right. That's right.
No
You're right.
And it was 25 minutes of, people saying, but people want to talk, and it's like, I got stuff to do. Because John, everybody in here knows how them things went. You had to pack a lunch to go to one of them things, because they just lasted all day long. So we did it together, called No Blabus Interruptus. But anyway, after that, I did a couple of things on Facebook. I never really tried to put a team back together for much. I do some personal things and things like that, but it was a lot of fun. Yep.
Thank you, Stan Bush. We're going to go to the real radio voice in the room, Mr. Marcel, New Media TV. Hello, Marcel.
Hi, how are you? I wouldn't be me if I didn't ham it up. I'm only the real radio voice when I have the big microphone on like you. So, but how are you today, sir? It's a great. This is the greatest thing ever to see all of these folks here that we haven't seen in a while. I've kept up with a few, but man, I tell you, great idea to do this, and man, I'm just excited. I really am.
So what have you been up to? I haven't seen any recent photos from Hawaii. What are you up to, man? Come on, now spill the beans.
And what you're speaking to, for people who may not understand what you mean, is, I'm a radio broadcaster for years, and like I said, Lee Michaels really kind of gave me that good footing back in the day. He's very modest, but he's one of these giants in radio, making careers for people. And what I did was, around 2010, I started doing my own thing. So what Tony's referring to is me broadcasting live, like we used to do with radio station live remotes, but for other companies. So I put a whole business together, wrapped the vehicle, and doing all that. And when Blab came along, it was exciting because it was the first. I don't know if people really realize this, but it was really that first intro to us all being live and doing all of this. Because then, Periscope was born out of it with Meerkat and the whole nine. And so since then, I've been coding. I got really good at coding apps. And Tony, I've got some special projects that I'm working on. I don't like to put it out there until it's done, because we don't want nobody taking peeks and then it's not where it needs to be. But I'm working.
I understand.
Working on an app that's very similar to when Twitter released their Periscope app, and I'm very proud of it. And again, you've seen it, Lee's seen it, and we've been working on it for a long time. But just working on that and using social media and paying attention to how social media has changed dramatically over the years. Boy, it's not the same since 2015, 16, 17, right? And so some good things are ahead for what I'm doing. So I'm excited about it. So that's what I've been doing, and social media. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Marcel. And last but certainly not least, Mr. John Pretto. Hello, sir.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
I am great, sir. It's good to see you as always.
Good to see you, my friend. I'm fat, dumb, ugly, and broke. I don't know why I'm here. I clicked on Reddit. They said this J.S. Gilbert guy was giving, if I sent him a Bitcoin, he would send me double back. That's why I'm here. I was just waiting for his Bitcoin wallet address to send him all my Bitcoin.
Okay, now you can tell us why you're really here.
Tony and I and all these guys here are my brothers, and we all met on Blab. I don't know, 2015 when it started.
2015, yeah.
And it died 2016 in June, I think, or October. I can't remember. But there's a huge community that was built in a very short time. And I tell people, I met more interesting people and professional people in Blab than I did in my real life business in the last 10 years. And that sustained it to be true. JS and I, Colin, Sausage King, a lot of us stayed in touch and actually worked together, do business, sustained Nerd World podcast, which is about, and we lost 90% of our podcast because Furkan promised he would get my media, but he never came through. So I lost about 50 episodes on Blab when they closed down, which was a pain. But we've done lots of episodes since then, and I'm tickled to hang out with. I get to hang out with Tony on a daily show called Office Hours, and Tony and I have learned PhD level of amount of production in the last 3 years on this show. And the top streaming audio video professionals on the planet are part of this morning group, and I'm tickled pink to hang out with Tony. And we're both prostate cancer survivors, which is a great thing.
Absolutely.
Here,
And
here, here. How many years for you, Tony?
It has been 3 years for me.
And
3 years
6
for
for
me.
you, John?
I just had my 10-year anniversary.
10. Holy cow.
10.
Where's the time go by?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to make one slight correction to what John said. We are part of a community called Office Hours, and it's officehours.global for those who are listening on the radio, and for those who are listening on YouTube and LinkedIn, it's officehours.global. It is a 24-hour a day event. 2 hours of each day are office hours. The rest of it is after hours. In after hours, you are able to get support, help on anything related to video production and streaming. And so we have a lot of actual CEOs who are developing different platforms that are related to streaming and video production that are part of the community. And then you have people like me who are learning as they are going on. And I have to say that I am thankful for the place that I'm in at this moment. As an older person who has had the opportunity to continue to learn new things and be inspired and encouraged to learn new things. So if you're interested in learning new things, you definitely want to be a part of the community. Now, that is going to be the last time that I mention Office Hours for right now. We are going to talk about Blab. So we're going to start where we ended with John Pretto. Please tell us what you're working on right now.
No, I'm not going to tell you what I'm working on now. I want to tell you a funny story about JS and Colin and I on Blab.
Okay, that'll work.
I kept the daily stats on Blab, and we identified a downturn in total viewership in Blab. It was a giant spike up, just like Clubhouse, and then it came down very, very. The attrition rate was gigantic. we showed this downward trend. And the interesting thing about Blab was it had discoverability. And so if you went to blab.im, you saw all the people that were live and a title of what they were talking about. Well, JS and Colin and I put, is streaming dead? We were talking about this downward trend that we identified. Sean Puri logged into our room and yelled at us all. And so we had to change the title of our, and then they closed. How soon after that, JS?
So here's the thing. I because I live like 20 minutes from Blab, I was there a lot, and I know a lot of people that are in that kind of universe, the funding and so forth. And I had it on fairly good authority. I believe it was August actually, and they closed, but I'm not positive. And I had it on good authority that they were going to be closing within a couple of weeks. So I started telling people on Blab. I mean, I would go into Blab rooms, get your videos, download them, get people's email addresses, blah, 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 because Blab is going to be shutting down. And Sean Puri calls me on the phone, which is kind of a rarity. And he's like, I don't know where you heard this from. We're not shutting down. Please stop telling people this or whatever. And so I went online on Blab and I did a room and I said, my apologies, Blab is not shutting down. And I told everybody, I don't know, my sources, I guess, were, anyway, 3 days later, they were gone.
Wow. 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 Marcel, what are you doing right now? Or what can you tell us about that you're doing?
Oh, that was perfect, man. I led in saying, oh, you mean on my phone with sending a text message? Oh, you're talking about my business. And I thought I was being clever, but you couldn't even hear me, so it didn't go over. Basically, like I said earlier, working on an app that is similar to Periscope. And again, Tony, you've been on it and it's just not ready. I've been working on it forever, since 2018, but it's just me. And, I refuse to work on it with anybody else. I just want to get it up to a certain level and then I'll get some other developers involved in that kind of thing. And it's been an experience in learning and understanding just everything. And I'm very excited about it. And it works, but, I'm just kind of hiding it out until I get to where I want it to be. And then it's just going to be social media will be all over then, and I'll have put it together for nothing. No, I'm just kidding. But then it'll be ready to go. It's just have a little more to go. But that's what I've been doing, man. Very, very excited about where social media is going and just how everybody loves it. Like it's an amazing, amazing thing, but they're just not treating us right. But that's another show. It's another show.
Well, I wanted you to briefly share your philosophy about the importance of apps and why apps are important.
Wow. I guess I got to make it brief. I'm not a brief person, but I'll try. First of all, apps, I think everybody should have their own app, right? And the reason they should have their own app, because you have your own house, you have your own car. And just like you have your own house and your own car, you should have your own app. You do not own Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the others, right? We're just using that. And y'all can stop me at any time, but it's like being on a digital plantation and you're picking cotton for the master, but the cotton's not yours. And you got the nerve to brag about how much cotton you're picking, right? Like, is that crazy? And the cotton represents the followers, right? People out here bragging about, man, I got 20,000 followers, 550, and it belongs to the app owners. And believe me, when you go to Facebook, I love Facebook, no Instant, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. When you go there and you collect all these people to follow you, and then when you go live, the algorithms keeps you right in a little pocket where you can't even reach them until you pay to reach the people you already worked to get. So I'm just going to calm down. I'm going to take a breath. Watch this. So
exhale.
Everybody should have their own app, if for no other reason, to push notifications, right? That it allows you to do that when you collect all those people who connect with you from social media. If they ever decide that, well, we're going to demonetize you on YouTube because we don't like what you said, they're there. In fact, it's an excuse now to get people to come to your app, because you can say, hey, everybody, I want to show you this great video, but I can't because, I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. So if you go to my app, you'll see it. They'll run there. It's what's in it for them. It's always what's in it for them, right? So that's why we're there, right? Because we want to be a part of whatever it is you're doing, and just create your own app so that you're able to do that. And that's no matter what it is, a chicken restaurant, pizza, have a social media element where you can connect with the people, engage them. So that's the short version. Believe it or not, that's the short version.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcel. Mr. Stan Bush, what are you working on?
Man, I'm working on a lot of things, but right now I'm just enjoying this and listening to things, a couple of things. I was going to go back to John about having a downturn. I saw that downturn. I saw it too, but I will tell you that our team never had a downturn, but we never had anything go up either because of the content, right? Because that's how you learn about the content, because our content was, how do you use it? How do you host, right? That was it. We weren't trying to do anything like some of you guys were doing. So that's why people came there, and we were full every time. We had a lot of people that tried to, had a lot of people that tried to come in on us, right? Like the guy, I don't know if Tony remembers it, but this is one of the reasons we decided we was going to turn off that ability to just pop in there with some guy from, I don't know where, popped in, had no shirt or nothing on, and was leaning back in the dark. And I was like, I do not know where this is going, but I'm gonna get him out of here now. But the other thing is, it's real fun listening to y'all talking about this, because like the things I'm gonna see who the true blabber is in here when I ask you this. When y'all came in and started talking about, like, I was information security officer for the state of Georgia, so I wasn't real light on technology, but you guys came in and I just kind of shut up. I'd be like, okay, well, these guys are doing a whole different thing here, because I wasn't the broadcast thing. My hands are in it pretty deep now, but I want to tell you something, Marcel. My wife, I've been married for 40 years, 40. And my wife, there's 4 words that she's learned how to say. She's learned to say, well, you asked me, because that's just how I am, right? Like if somebody asks me, I'm gonna give them an answer, right? But even I can tell you this, man, I could have never got away with the story about the plantation. I can tell you that right now. I was like, whoa, I couldn't do that, because how it is these days. Because a lot of people don't know how. Like everybody in here, to me, everybody in here knows how to have fun.
I just got 4 text messages because of that statement, Marcel.
Yeah. I saw Lydia kind of smile too, but I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't say that, right? But anyway, I'm going to hush.
No, I was wincing. I was wincing when he was saying that. I was like retreating into the womb again.
But the truth is, I'm proud of you because you said it. That's the truth, man, because you got to speak. We got some of the stuff that goes on because of social media. We got to get it back to like the real kind of thing, That's about it for me. I was going to see if any of you guys remember. Well, I know that Lydia does. Robert Stern and Herbie Marin. Y'all still hang out with them guys?
Yeah, Robert owes me and J.S. Gilbert some money.
Well, Robert, see, here's the thing. I don't know if you remember this, but we were the group that took Robert in. Well, we didn't take him into the group, but I talked to him about interviewing him. You remember this, Tony? And then it was, man, people were just all over me. They were just all over me. And I was like, I had no idea, because I kind of stay focused on what I'm doing. I had no idea that was happening. I had none. And then all of a sudden I'm getting these calls about, you really going to do this? I said, look, I'm going to do it because of one reason, and everybody in here would be that and understand what I mean. Because I said I would. That's why I'm going to do it. I said I was going to do it, And so that's why I'm going to do it. But he's doing some stuff over at on LinkedIn. He's like still the social media master or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like pictures of cats or something. I don't get it. I've never got it.
All right, we're going to go, and I'm not whispering this time, Mr. Lee Michaels.
Okay, what am I working on right now?
Yes, sir.
Couple of things. I'm in transition from Vegas back to LA. So in the personal life, that's kind of like a priority. In my professional life in the transportation business, I'm trying to grow the business, bringing on some more drivers. As the economy is starting to bounce back a bit, we're getting more requests for rides here in LA. We just did the Grammys. We had 16 cars out there for the Grammys. So, events that come up, the Grammys, the Oscars, and all those big shows, we get a lot of that business, but it's not like that every day. Some days we don't have very much, and then the next day you got 10, 15 calls. So I'm trying to expand the business. The business is called EliteCarsUSA.com. And the original concept for the company pre-COVID, so we started in 2019, early January of 2019. And by the time COVID hit mid-2020, we went from doing 30 or 40 rides a day to, for 9 months, 0. Through from about March of 2020 to about March of 21, we had very, very little business. 9 months straight, 0. So we're still rebuilding the business. In 2020, I'd planned to expand to the top 10 largest cities in America and have cars in all of the top 10 cities. So as our clients were traveling, we could provide service in the various markets that they were going to. And that's still a part of my dream to make that happen. But it's going to be a slower growth than what I anticipated. So that's primarily what I've been doing. I've got one other thing that I'm going to launch hopefully soon. I'm working on the business plan. And that's going to be back in Vegas. I want to build a sound stage. And John is going, he don't know it yet, but he's going to be there working with me. I'm going to need video guys, audio guys, stage guys. And the concept is going to be, live from Las Vegas kind of stuff. So, and then Marcel, you're going to be there too. So all the guys and ladies that want to be in that type of industry, I'm trying to open up some opportunities. So that's the next big thing for Lee Michaels.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mr. Gilbert, I believe you are next.
I am. What am I doing now? Most days I get up and I read the obituary, and if my name's not in there, I figure it's got a good chance of being a nice day.
Amen, brother.
That's what I do. Yeah, I keep.
Did you get your money from Robert Stern yet, JS?
No. And even some people are rolling in it now. It looks like that owe me money, but it's okay. Money is just money. In 2015, I kind of went into a pivot. I was looking at opening up a bunch of businesses that the idea was to eventually work them into being passive income streams by bringing other people along for the ride, keeping a little percentage of the business. And then between Trump and COVID and I don't know what else, just things did not pan out they were supposed to. So I lost a lot of money, I guess. But I still kind of feel like I'm in a pivot, but I still kind of feel like there's still so much flux out there. So I think the main thing is that I know that in any given day, there are things that I enjoy doing that I get to pursue. I'm very lucky that way. and developing new skills, learning new stuff. So I too am working on with a partner in Canada. We're working on developing an app that's designed for people who are looking to sell things online, and it's just a way for them to inexpensively and very easily find out what long-term or long tail search criteria might work for specific things that they're trying to sell for specific places, and also trending terms, things of that nature. And it's coming along. It's about 3/4 of the way done. And I opened up a jewelry store on Etsy, and I'll be opening up a leather store on Etsy, and then another store that's just going to be selling crazy stuff. Whether I keep them on Etsy, I don't know, but it's a good place to start.
Wow.
And that's kind of things that are going on. I'm going to do my first, I'm going to go to a live show and see about selling jewelry in person, because I don't get out of the house enough. I miss that. I miss going to groups and doing things. And it's just, I don't know. It went bye and it's not coming back in a big way. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Miss
thank you.
Lydia.
Yes, Tony.
So what have you been doing? What are you up to right now?
Well, there's always a lot going on. And I have been fairly busy, but I just moved companies, maybe about 8 months ago. So I'm really enmeshed in, learning a new business. My extra curricular activities are really just this year specifically, I am focusing on reading. I've done a lot of streaming during COVID. Streaming and, watching a lot of content was just one of those things that you did because we were so restricted. It felt like, it was a little bit more social when you could, watch things. But I have turned that direction late last year, just really started reading like a book a week, just getting my mind kind of refocused on other ideas. And that's been fantastic, actually, just because, I don't know, like from personally streaming to watching content to, now we're going into 2023. I think that you got to keep your mind really fresh. I think there's a lot of newness that's going on. I think there's a lot of change that's coming. And to be able to tie into that, reading is really one of those things that I think it's almost like a lost art. When I tell people I'm reading and they're like, well, physical books? I mean, we're like, how are you reading? Well, yes, there are several different ways, but, I do Audible, I do, Kindle, I do physical. I mean, I do a lot of different types of venues in reading. Like, I just don't think there's just one approach. I like to use everything. I like the tactile of a book, but I also like listening. If I'm busy, I like it all. I just think that reading is something that we all need to do more of, and even providing content and growing content. I've been thinking about, additional content and creating content. I need that outside thought process of, just books. So that's what I've been focused on. And that's my, goal. I'm on a 50-book journey for 2023.
I have a question. How come everybody else since Blab has gotten older except for you? What's going on with that?
Well,
I'm glad you said that, because I said it earlier and she thought I was just playing. I mean, I was dead serious. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
I didn't hear you say it. I did not hear you say it. I was not.
Right.
I don't.
Thank you.
No stress.
I'm just going to tell all of you, I know her husband. That's all I'm going to say.
Well,
Well,
my
obviously
wife's
she's
right in
living a
here,
lot.
so My wife's right
Hey,
over there.
you know,
So
I mean, we're getting close to our big anniversary this year, or next year. And I just think it's about, you have to choose how you live. You have to start taking care of yourself. I mean, we're all like, everybody's getting older, but I'm working on, it's like reading. That's one of the things, that's one of the things that I wanted to do. And like reading and drinking more water and exercising and just keeping your mind agile. That's been helpful, but truthfully, I'm going to say I have nothing. Like, it's just God's blessing. Seriously, if I had to really call it, it is God's blessing. So whatever I have,
Absolutely.
because he's blessed me, pressed down, shaken, and overflowing. That's what I profess. And I don't take credit for any of that.
Amen. 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 I think that is everyone on that question. I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Okay.
Well,
we
what
are
about
good.
you? We're not. Tony? What's been your big challenges and things and stuff since Blab? It's been a while. Catch us up.
JS, it is so much that we would really need another show for it. But what I will share with you is that I am, and I had said I wasn't going to talk anymore about office hours, but I think this is important. And I'm going to try to be brief, but this is hard to be brief with this. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was dealing with cancer, and I was really struggling with the fact that I was having to go to the hospital for treatment at the same time people were going to the hospital for treatment for COVID. And there was a certain amount of fear that was associated with that. And I had the opportunity to reconnect with Alex Lindsay from Meerkat, where he was sharing what he was doing in Africa, starting the school. And he started talking about this thing called office hours. And I jumped in full-fledged, using the same old beat up laptop that I used when I was on Blab, 2012 MacBook Pro, terrible camera, terrible audio, sunlight coming in. My wife was
about office hours from you. John found out about it from you.
No.
I was on day one.
He was on day one.
Oh.
I was probably maybe a couple of weeks after it actually started. Yeah, I was kind of lurking for a long time. And then I
lasted 3 days. I was there at the beginning. I lasted 3 days. I was ready to kill Alex Lindsay, and I said, I better leave before I do.
I had a different
experience. Still there.
I had a different experience, JS. My experience was that I was welcomed. I was encouraged. And Mike Andrews, I have to say, Mike Andrews, who passed away in that first year, was very instrumental in keeping me involved and keeping me connected to office hours. What I will say is that in a lot of ways, first, God was the priority for me being able to come through everything that I came through. But office hours supported me in that it was what I needed. So even though I had all of the things wrong that the community said that you needed to have in place in order to be quality presence, I still was allowed to participate, and I continued to participate, and I got better. And I am in this mode now where I am learning so many different things. The office hours motto is that a community where no one is left behind. And I believe that the spirit of that still exists. Is it perfect? I'm not going to say that it's perfect, but it works for me. I am learning so many different amazing things. I am learning things that I could not have comprehended. And I shared with some of you what my setup looks like. It is so far removed from how I actually started in the community to what I have now.
Tony,
It's,
if I could just
in a
clarify,
lot of ways, a lot of ways it's too much. My wife would say that it's too much. It's too busy. It's too, but I say all that to say, I shared with Lydia a couple of days ago about an app that I'm using. It's called Video Pencil, where you actually write on your video as you are. And I would demonstrate, but we don't have time for that. But you can actually speak a word and it's on your live video. That's amazing. I have the opportunity to interact with that CEO, that developer. We interact with the CEO, project managers for different companies and CEOs of different companies. And it's just an amazing learning opportunity. And I think more importantly, it helps keep my mind active. And so I say to anyone, if you want to learn about video production, if you want to learn about doing things, the reason that I jumped into office hours was to help a small community church. And they get mad at me for saying small community church. But this church was in need of how to navigate the pandemic. And I was able to glean from office hours how to help them continue to have worship services. And not only have they been able to continue to do worship services, they now have a YouTube channel where the weekly sermons are broadcasted on YouTube. And so you might say, well, that's not such a big thing. It is a big thing when most of the membership at this point is over 60 years old. And the fact that the pastor is 93 years old, it is an amazing accomplishment. So I'm not even talking about Conversation with Tony Mobley. The fact that we're having this conversation and you guys who came in early got to see all the bells and whistles and all the people involved and all of the different things that are going on behind the scenes in order for the audience to be able to experience what we are sharing here and there in this conversation. And so it's just an amazing journey. And I'm sort of rambling, but the point I wanted to make is that, like when Liddy was talking about the importance of reading, the importance of keeping her mind engaged, the importance of keeping things going and being motivated, this community helps me stay alive from the standpoint of pushing, stretching, and growing. And one of the things that I try to do, and I'm going to do more of it, is that I try to pull people along with me. Part of the reason why I want to talk about Video Pencil and Mimo Live and Ecamm and Zoom OSC and Zoom Rooms and vMix and all of these wonderful things that are going on that we are embracing and learning because technology. Now, and I wanted to say this when JS, when you had finished talking about there is an opportunity to have engagement with people on video that is just as real as if you are there in person. There is an opportunity to do that. The opportunity for that to happen is two things: good video, good audio. There is no such thing as Zoom fatigue or teams fatigue. There is only an issue of good audio and good video. Good audio, and bad video. We are exposed to people with a good enough attitude, a good enough mindset. And the good enough mindset is such that you come on and you think that just being good enough is enough. But the fact of the matter, if people are struggling to hear what you're saying, if they're struggling to see what you're doing, then the brain is working overtime to figure out the things that you're saying and doing. And that is where you get tired. Your mind gets tired. And so you're like, well, that was good, but I'm tired. You're tired because the audio wasn't good and the video wasn't good. And that's a whole nother story, and we need to move on.
I
But
just wanted to back up for 1 second, Tony, if I may. I didn't mean to sound dismissive of office hours. The contrary, I watch it all the time. I enjoy watching it.
Oh, I didn't take it that way.
Me, oh, okay.
I didn't take it that way. I didn't take it that way at all.
Participating was a little. Oh, okay. I think it's
No,
a great resource.
I didn't take it that way.
I'm so happy that you and John have found a community you fit in. And that's really nice. And I also communicate with a lot of the other people that are on the panels, and it's my world too. So yeah, it's great. Anyway, I just, in case anybody was listening and they thought, office hours.
I understand exactly what you're saying, JS. Believe me, I understand exactly what you're saying. It's not for everybody. But what I would say is that if you're interested in technology, if you're interested in what's coming, you need to take a shot.
Give it a shot.
Take a look. That's all I say.
Yeah.
Take a look. Take a look. So we're down to our last question, and I'm going to ask everyone to try to keep it down to a minute and a half, and I apologize for me going on rambling. And we're going to start with Lydia. And the last question is, you're speaking to the world. What do you want them to know? And any closing remarks that you have, please make it this time.
I first of all want to say thank you, Tony, for your insistence that I participate. And that it was a long journey. And I was like, I had to say that. Just came out. Okay. I appreciate you greatly. And the one thing that I would say is, from the streaming community and, really just listening to our conversation today, that it is so important that we stay communicating. Like, we have to stay talking to one another. Everyone's voice does count for something, and we have to be respectful and understand that voice can really be life-changing for us. But this conversation has been fantastic. It's very motivating to want to, continue the conversations going forward and to just stay in touch. But that's what I would like to convey. Thank you so much. John Preto.
I was going to tell a funny story, but we're running out of time. So
you have my time, John. Take my time.
No, we used to do, what was it? 3000. What was that show that we did, JS, with the two robots? Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, Mystery Science. Yeah.
Yeah, Mystery Science Theater.
So what we would do is we would run Wirecast. We would grab your room in Blab, bring it into our Blab, and then we would make fun of you in our Blab while we were watching your Blab. And we got busted by Ricky Prime. He came in and he saw us and he busted us.
Beavis and Butthead.
It was really, really funny. Tony, yeah. I'm super, super excited to hang out with a few of the guys I haven't seen in a long time. I'm happy to be here. all is well. IOwnChristian.com. We're relaunching again this year. We're adding AI into Christian.com to sustain the believers, and good things coming with that project. And I'm happy to see all of you guys. And with that, I yield my time.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Lee Michaels.
Well, first of all, thank you, and it's a pleasure to see some old faces and old names, and to be a part of this show tonight. Thank you
Quit
for
using the word
invite.
old so much.
Oh, my bad. It's in my blood. I can't help it. And like JS, I get up in the morning to check the obituaries, and if I'm not there, it's a good day. And I love technology. Have since I was a
Me
kid.
too.
And I grew up listening to radio with a transistor radio and an earplug, not in stereo because it was all AM radio back in those days. And that launched my career. I was 10, 11 years old. By the time I was 15, I got a job in radio. And I did 50 years, and it was a blast. Beyond my wildest dreams. But here I am at this point in my life. I'm still excited about broadcasting. Is moved away from AM, FM, satellite, live streaming now, podcasting, and who knows what's going to be next. But I guarantee you, if I'm alive, I'm going to be a part of it, because that's the fun that keeps me excited and engaged. And I think that I've heard the word learning and reading and growing. It's all a part of life, man. And just do it. Don't be afraid. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. I've seen Marcel grow from being a radio DJ to now developing web apps and apps that you run on your phone and your tablets. So we all can grow. We can all expand and take on the new technology, whether it's AI next or whatever. And I've got my feelings about some of the AI stuff, and it's going to be here whether I like it or want it or not. I'll give you a quick story. I went to Disneyland to drop off some people, and I stopped at McDonald's. And the McDonald's there in Disneyland here in California, they want you to use the machine to place your order. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. So the manager kind of got upset with me because I didn't want to use the machine. I said, well, listen, and this is kind of like who I am. You got 8 or 10 people back there working. That machine is going to replace some of those people. And I would rather make sure that 65-year-old woman or that 18-year-old or a 12-year-old, 15-year-old who's back there working, I want to make sure that they have a job. So I would rather give my order to a human as opposed to using your Cyclops over here. But that, so I embrace technology, but at the same time, I'm afraid of some of it because it takes away from us as humans. And I think we have a chance to lose that human interaction. And what we're doing right now is communicating with each other, sharing ideas and concepts and love and emotions and all of that. But if it comes down to robots, I'm not going to be happy. I'm sure I'm going to have to use them, but I'm not going to be happy because I want to touch, feel, smell, and shake a hand and just have that conversation. So that's where I am.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Stan Bush.
And I
real
apologize
quick.
for the bad audio and video because I'm sitting in my car and I don't know what it sounds like. It's going through my Bluetooth.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Stan Bush and then Marcel, very quickly, please.
I'll make it real brief, is that I'm just going to go back to what we did with the circadians, because you mentioned them, is that we go back to everybody's equal, everybody matters, and everybody's got their own special gift. And that's what we were about. And I was really proud that, to know you tonight, because I saw that coming out. And I thank you for inviting me here. And remember, we had the first guru-free zone.
That's right. That's right. Marcel.
Yeah, man, I'll be brief. Tony, you're a class act, man, and I tell you that all the time. It's good to see Lydia, good to see just everybody, Lee and all the others. And man, I just hope you do this again and talk about something else. Call me when you're ready to talk about these apps and that plantation. Because we can talk about it. We gotta
Yes,
talk
sir.
about it.
Yes,
So,
sir.
but I love this space, man. And thank you very much.
We're out of time, and I will say this. I knew when I asked Marcel the question that there was the potential for that response. And so if there is any flack, then that needs to fall on me, because I know where he's coming from. And I want to say thank you all so much for being with me tonight. This is the end of episode 86. I want to say thank you. Conversation with Tony Mobley is produced by valued audio video professionals who meet daily on office hours, hosted by Alex Lindsay. Thank you, Z98.1 FM's LinkedIn Live, YouTube, Conversations with Real People. Last week, we had a great conversation with Dr. Hazmat Gaijar, transforming human capital through digital literacy. When you have time, go back and look at the 80 plus episodes of Conversation with Tony Mobley. I think you will find that you will see something that you like, and hopefully it is helpful to you. Conversation with Tony Mobley can be heard on Z98.1FM.com, our radio listening audience in Cincinnati, Ohio. Thanks to Taylor Sonderhouse and the team behind Conversation with Tony Mobley for making this happen. Blab panel, thank you for our conversation today. Thank you for doing the work that you are doing and being the people who you are. Next week, Mr. Kyle Hammond, he is doing a new project called Thank You 5. We will see you. Take care, everyone. Good night. God bless. Bye-bye.